Using that, we can add the user. So right now, I'm the only one who is having the admin access to this workspace. So now I can add the users from here. Okay, so we have this add people or groups option. So you can add the entire group or individual personal emails. Okay, so how do we do that? So first we need to get his email ID. It means the network credential. I'm saying network ID, right? So this is the network ID for him. So I need to get that network ID, or else I can search here. So with their surname and all, if you search, right, not here. So add people or groups and then search for his name. So it will list out all the IDs with the name Balaji. Okay. So since there are multiple Balajis, so I'll be taking his exact email ID so that I'll be getting his exact ID. So then I can add. So again, so when you are adding to the workspace, there are multiple roles. We call them as workspace roles. It means we can give access to the workspace, but again, there are four types of roles that you can give to the user. Okay, they are a viewer, contributor, member, and admin. So first I'll start with viewer. After that, we can upgrade the permissions and see like what are the differences among them. So first I'm adding him as the viewer. Okay, now Balaji is added, so I can see him here. So what is his permission? He is viewer for this workspace. So now I'll go to Balaji's account. I mean end user account. So I'm logged. I mean I've logged in with the same. I mean his account in my system itself, so that I can test here itself. So now it is Balaji's account. So I will be verifying like how it is coming here. So I gave viewer access to that B57 workspace. So I'll go to workspaces and I'll see here. I'll refresh it once. Okay, workspaces. If you see, this workspace is visible for now. And we will understand like what are the differences over there. Okay, see. So this is the user account, I mean Balaji's account, and this is my account. So I gave access to this workspace and see like if you are observing any differences here and there. So first understand the options here. So we have the workspace name, new item, new folder, import, migrate, update app or create app option will be there, manage access, and then workspace settings. So you are seeing all these options, right? And see the types of files. Are we able to see the dashboard? So we have dashboard, reports, and model, semantic model. So all the files are available in this workspace. So now I'll go to the Balaji's account. Since I have added him as the user, I will see like what all the things that he is getting. Okay. What are the types of files that he is getting? Reports and dashboard. And what about semantic model? Is he able to see them? No, he's not able to see the semantic models. Meaning viewer cannot see the semantic models from the workspace. So if you are giving viewer access to that workspace, you will not be able to see the semantic models. Okay, but you can see the reports and dashboards. Meaning these are the contents that we share with the end users. So indirectly, if you give viewer access, he will become the viewer. It means he is the end user. So in rare cases, they will ask you, it means the end users will ask you to share the workspace access. So in those cases, what we will do, we will give the viewer access for them. So indirectly, the viewer access is also a end user access. Instead of sharing the individual reports or instead of sharing the app, so there is another option that we can give to the user, that is workspace access, and that too with the viewer level. We will not be giving contributor, member, or admin to the viewers. So this is not for the developers and this is for the viewers. Okay. So why? Because they are not supposed to see the backend data. So it means what model we have and what data we have, they are not supposed to see. Only they are supposed to consume the reports what we have created for them. So that is the reason. So if they wanted to see all the reports from the workspace, so if there is if your manager is asking to give complete workspace access, so for the team or for the people, so then we will give. Otherwise, we will not be giving the workspace access. So either we share the app or the direct report. We never give the workspace access. Either viewer also will not give, but in rare cases, so we will be asked to give the workspace access. Okay. I mean, we have to confirm with our manager, and if he is okay with that, then only we give the viewer access to the workspace so that he can see all the reports in that workspace. Okay, all the reports are dashboards, whichever we create for the end users right to consume. So those things he can see from the workspace if he is given the viewer access. Clear? So that is the viewer permission. And see, like is he able to publish anything to this workspace? Is there any new option or something? New, not there, right? See, new folder, import, migrate, or create app or manage access. Are we able to see anything? So it means he cannot add any user to this workspace. He cannot publish the content into this workspace. Meaning he cannot create report and publish into. He can create the report in his desktop, but he cannot publish into this Dev 57 workspace because he doesn't have access. It means the publish access or the edit access, and we'll see. So whether he is able to edit the report or not. So this is one report I'm taking. So if you want to make any format changes or all right, so there is an option called edit. here in service itself we will do, but actually we are not supposed to do in the service. Why? Because we need to track the versions, right? So every time when there are new changes, so we need to keep that file safe, meaning we will have some version controlling software, so like TFS or GitHub. So we will be updating the latest version every time. That's why what we will do is we will update the records. I mean, even a small change also, we will get that file from the service or from the version controlling software. So from there, we'll get the latest report and make the changes and again publish the report into service. And that copy we will upload into the version controlling software. So that like GitHub we have it. So because if there are any new changes, so if the new changes are not working, what they will do is they will go to the previous version itself. So instead of disturbing the business, so within that allocated time, if we are not able to finish the latest changes, what we will do, we will take the previous version and we will upload it back if there are any enhancements and all. So we should not disturb the business, right? So we will take the permission either for 1 hour or 2 hours. So within that time, it means first we will test it in the test workspace, and later if everything is good, so then we will push it to the production by opening the change control. Change control in the sense it is a through the service now or something, we will get the permission to upload that report into the production. So, and they will give you the slot for us, or we will book the slot, and within that time, we are supposed to publish the report into the production. So if something goes wrong, so if you're crossing your time, what we will do means if you're not able to finish the changes within the allocated time, so immediately we will take the previous version and we will push it to the service and we will close that. So next time, so we will again rectify that error. Again, we will take the permission, I mean the change control we will create, and within that slot, allocated slot, we will push it to the production. We will rectify that error and maybe next day or that next day. So we'll again fix it and then finally we will publish into the server. So that latest version with the latest changes, right? So we have to update into the GitHub. So we will not store in our local machine. Like every time if you are storing means when you are leaving the organization, so it is difficult. Like we cannot get the updated version, right? So for the next developers, so they need the updated version. Or now you are working on this. So maybe some other person will be working on the enhancements or if there are any new requirements on the same report. So at that time, how they can get the report? So even in your machine also, at certain after certain period, it will be deleted. So, but the new file is needed, right? So every time we cannot download from the service. Why? Because if you are configuring the incremental refresh and all, that file will not download. So that's why every time after the latest changes, that latest file will be added to the version controlling software so that even for creating the, I mean, if we don't have the version controlling, then we will depend on the service and from there we will download the latest version. Otherwise, every time we have to get the latest version from the version controlling software. So mainly people are using GitHub nowadays. So from the GitHub, we will download it and we will make the changes and then push it to the production. And that updated version again, we will update it to the GitHub. That's how it works. Okay. So now for the viewer, so here in this case, he doesn't have any access to update the workspace or add the users. He cannot add other users, and he cannot create the app, and he cannot publish the content here, and he cannot see the semantic models. So only this is one of the end user access that we can give in rare cases. Okay, but he's a developer, right? So Balaji is the developer in our case. So he is supposed to add the reports. It means he is supposed to create the reports and add them into the workspace, B57 workspace. So for that, what we will do, we will upgrade the permissions for him. So again, manage access. So now instead of viewer, I'll be giving the contributor. We will see like what all options he's getting over there. So I have updated. I'll refresh this page. Okay. So now we got new item, new folder, report, migrate, and what all missing for you? Manage access is missing, and create app is also missing. Meaning he cannot create the app and he cannot add the other users. But he can publish the content. It means he can add the items, either report or whatever, like Power BI related files, right? He can publish them. And if you see, he's able to see the semantic models also. Meaning he can set up the refresh or he can update the models. Everything in the workspace he can update. But he cannot update or create the app, meaning the stack of reports I told, right? So he cannot do that. And he cannot add any users. He's not getting this manage access option also. See. So here we have the update app and manage access. These options are not coming. So contributor cannot update the app and cannot manage the access. But he got all the viewer permissions, like whatever viewer can do, he got all of them. And along with that, he got additional access to create the reports or publish the reports into this workspace. Okay. So he can see the semantic models and he can update them, or he can push the new content into this workspace, but he cannot update the app and he cannot add the other users to this workspace. Clear? So these are the contributor permissions. Next, we will upgrade it to member and see what all access he is getting. Okay, I have upgraded to member. Next, we will refresh it here. So now he is able to see the update app option also. So he got all the contributor permissions, whatever contributor can do. So he got all those permissions, and along with that, he got this update app and manage access option also. Meaning he can create the app, update the app, and he can manage the access. Meaning he can add the users. So how can he add the users? Just like how we were doing from my account. So same way, see what permission he is having, member. So add people or groups we can choose, and then we can add the users. Okay, and here see like what all the permissions he's getting, like up to what level he can add. So he is the member, he doesn't have the admin permissions. Okay, so that's why he is able to, I mean, he will be able to add up to his level. So he can add the users, but he can give viewer access and he can give contributor access and member access, but he cannot give the admin access because he himself doesn't have the admin permissions. Okay. Additionally, along with the contributor, he got access to update the app and he got access to add the users, but up to his level. So what is this level? His level is member, right? So up to member level, he can add the users, either viewer or contributor or member. So he can give the access into that. Okay, added. So can he remove any one of them? So he added, right? So are we getting option to remove any of them? No, right? So member cannot remove the users. Okay, cannot remove the users, but he can publish the content, he can view the content, and he can add the users, but up to his level. Okay, up to member level, he can add the users. These are the things that we get for member. And we have final one, admin. I'll upgrade the permissions to admin. Okay, now everything you will get, and the manage access also. See. So, including other admins, he can remove the users. Earlier, we were not getting this option to remove the users. Now, so I was the admin, right, Mahesh? So this account was the admin account. So including that account, he can remove anyone from this workspace. I only created it, but I have given admin access to Balaji. So now Balaji can remove me as well. Okay, he can remove other users and he can remove me, and he get everything, like, so how to update the workspace, or how to publish the content and to view the content inside that. So he can do anything what I can do. So he can do anything over there. Okay, so it means admin means all the permissions, including workspace, like, updating the app, or if you want to delete the workspace also, he can delete the workspace. Okay, so we can delete the workspace. So here we can delete the workspace. Workspace settings will be there. So there will be remove option. So if you scroll it down, so we can do that. So, so these are all the workspace permissions. We don't need to change any of that. Okay. We don't need to change any of these permissions. So simply we will create the workspace. These all things will be managed by the admin. Power BI admin will be there, or Microsoft admin will be there. So they will be managing it. So workspace type we can change. We can point it to the premium. If we want to update it later, we can point it to the premium here in the workspace type. Okay, that is for the workspaces. And so this is how we collaborate with the developers. Okay, so now we have to see like how we can refresh the report. How we can refresh the report. Okay, assume that this is the server where we have the data, and this is Power BI service. Okay, and this is our machine, I mean our laptop. Okay, this is our desktop, Power BI desktop. So how do we create the report? So we import the data. I mean, first we will have the Power BI desktop installed in our machine. So and then we will import the data. So from here to here, we will import the data and we will create the reports. And then, so after that, so what we will do, we will update the, I mean, we will publish the report into Power BI service from here to here. Okay, so every time remember that when you create a report in the desktop and when we push it to the Power BI service, it will not create any live connection unless you are working on the live report. So it will push a copy of the report into the Power BI service. Okay, it's not like some people will think like both will be connected. So every time it's not like that. So once you publish the report, after that, if you make any changes, they will not reflect in the Power BI service until you replace this file in the service. So once you publish the report, it is like disconnected. So that copy is different, and this copy what you are having on the desktop is different. So if you make any changes in the future, right? So those changes will not reflect in the service. So if you want those changes in the service means you have to publish this again. It means you have to replace this report in the service. Okay, it's like a copy of the report. So after that, once the copy is published into the service, when you try to refresh it to the service. So this is the service account, right? When you try to refresh it. So we have this refresh now option, right? So when you try to refresh it, if you are using the on-premises data source, if you are using the on-premises data source, it will directly try to contact the server. So it means from here to here, it will try to directly contact it, but it will not be able to contact the server because of the network configuration, I mean security configuration, because we are the organization members, right? So we will have the VPN connection and all. So it means we will be within the organization network. So from here we will be able to access the organization server and create the report. When it comes to the Power BI service, right? So this will be hosted on the Microsoft Azure environment. So Azure environment is the Microsoft product, right? So Microsoft is the external vendor now. So that external person. So even if you see, like assume that I am working for one company and you are working for another company. So will you be able to access the data of my company if you have the server details and all? No, right? Even if you have the credentials and server details, you are the organization outside member. So you'll not be able to access because you're not in our organization network. So you don't have that VPN connection and all. So you'll not be able to access it. So same way, even if you have the credentials in the Power BI service for that report, so it will not be able to directly contact the server. Okay, so it will not be able to directly contact the server and it cannot contact through the desktop also. So the desktop software is not configured to refresh the report. Refresh in the sense from Power BI service. But within desktop, we have an option to refresh it. So we have the refresh option, right? So again, it is within the laptop only and it is within the organization. So it will be able to contact the server and this file can be refreshed. So, and you can push it back to the Power BI service. So it is like manual refresh every time. So we need to get that file and refresh it and update it. And we cannot do it daily, right? So there might be like every 2 hours refresh we have to set up or like daily once refresh. So that we cannot do. So that's why we will configure the schedule refresh in the service only. So even for the schedule refresh, if you are configuring, so before that it's not able to access the server. Then how the tables will be refreshed? So that's why what they will do is in within the organization, so they will have a separate dedicated machine, just like our laptop, right? So within the organization, they will have a separate dedicated machine. Okay, either virtual machine or in the Azure environment or somewhere, they will create one remote desktop. Okay, or one desktop will be there. I mean, one system will be allocated for the refreshes. So all the service, I mean, reports which are there in the service, they will refresh through the machine like which we are configuring for it. So in that dedicated machine, we will configure the gateway software. So we have a software called Power BI Gateway. Okay. The gateway software we have to install on a machine. See, even like we can install the software in our machine also. So like just like how we have desktop, so we can install the gateway machine or gateway software also. But why we don't install in our machine is like once we are coming out of the organization, our laptop will be like it will not be online. And another thing is like round the clock we will not be online, right? So every time that the gateway should be online every time. Then only if it is offline, it will not be able to contact the server and refresh it. So it should be always up and running. We don't know like which report will be refreshed and what time. Timings are different, right? So the client will be in different zone and we will be working in different zone. So that's why we cannot depend on our machine. So if we can install it, it will work on our machine also, but it should be always up and running. That's why we will not be installing in our machines. We will have a dedicated machine for that. So there we will log in through the remote desktop software and then we will install it. So we will have the dedicated machine. So this thing actually we are not required to do, but they would have set up it already. But they will ask you in interview whether we will be able to do it or not. So if there is any new setup, right? So we might need to do that. So that's when they will ask you in interview like what type of gateway we have and do you know how to configure the gateway. So these things they will ask. So assume that for now, just assume that my machine itself is the dedicated machine for that and I logged into the remote desktop and now I need to install that software in my machine. So how do I install it? So I'll go to the Google and from here itself I'll get the gateway for Power BI. Okay, so there is a Power BI gateway. So first link itself you can choose and you can download the gateways. So we have two versions, standard mode and personal mode. So we will be using the standard mode. Personal mode will not be using. Personal mode is just for the testing purpose. We can try a test with the standard mode itself. So personal mode is just for the testing. It means it will not support the direct query. It will not support the live connection, and it will be used only for the Power BI. So you'll get, you'll see the differences here. So if you just scroll it down, so you can see the differences. And the personal mode, right? We cannot share with other users. So if we have a dedicated machine created already, and we cannot have a separate dedicated machines for every developer, right? So everyone should be using the same for configuring the refresh. That's why. So if you use the personal one, it cannot be shared with the other users. But this one, right? So on-premises gateway, but standard mode if we install, so we can share this gateway with the other users. So same connection details, they will also be able to use it. Okay, so that's why the direct query mode and live connection are not supported, and it is the standard mode. Like it will support the Power BI, Power Apps, Azure Logic Apps, Power Automate, Azure Analysis Services, Data Flows. So it is supporting all of these platforms. But the on-premises personal mode is only supporting the Power BI. Okay, on-premises we call it as on-premises data gateway standard mode. So I mean, both are on-premises data gateways only, but it is standard mode and it is personal mode. So they will ask you what are the types of gateways. So we have to tell that two types of gateways we have. So two types of on-premises data gateways we have. One is standard mode and another is personal mode. So we use the standard mode because it can be shared with other users and it will support our Power Apps, Azure Logic Apps, Power Automate. It means entire Power Platform it will support, but the personal mode will support only Power BI. And so the standard mode can be shared with other users and personal mode cannot be shared with other users. And standard mode will support the direct query as well as the live connection. But this one will not support. Okay, that's why we will use the standard one. So the configuration is same for both of them. So we will download the standard mode. So once you download it, it will be like next only. I think I already installed it. So this is the gateway. So just download the software from there and just click on next. So it will download the software for you. Okay. So this is my gateway. So for the first time, if you are opening, so once everything is installed, right? So it looks like this. Okay. Now you have to sign in or you have to create the cluster. Check for that for you. I'll uninstall this one and we install the new software once again. Okay. So I just uninstalled it. So I've downloaded the latest one, right? So this one, I think it's a space issue. Okay, it's downloaded. Just double click on it. Just accept the terms. Okay, we're just downloading the software and installing it. So you understood the concept, right? Here, like how it is refreshing. So it's not directly contacting the server. So it will contact the server through the gateway. So this gateway software we will be installing in our separate machine in a dedicated machine. So through this gateway, it will contact it. So we just need to log in into this gateway, and after that, in service, we do the configuration to that. Configuration in the sense we have to add the server details to this gateway account in the service. So on the gateway machine, we will just create the cluster. It means we'll just log in and create the cluster, and in service only we will be adding the server details. So like what server need to be contacted through this gateway, we have to add those details in the service that we will see tomorrow. Like a refresh setup and all. So it is not working. So I'll help you tomorrow itself. We'll close this topic, right? So how it works is basically through the gateway. So in the gateway machine, well, first we will install it and then we will configure it. Configure in the sense we will log in with the credentials, with the service credentials. Okay. So even for the gateway machines, what they will do is sometimes they will use the principal credentials. Principal credentials in the sense the generic credentials. So instead of using our personal credentials, so they will create a like Power BI admin at the rate like the company.com like fastmail.com, so it will be shared with us. It means the username and password both will be shared with the entire team. So if there are any configurations like generic configurations, we will be using those credentials instead of our personal credentials. So we will be logging into the service with those credentials and we will set up the gateway configurations. And so once we are added to that gateway, then directly with the personal credentials itself, we can use them. But when there is a configuration like this, you know, desktop configuration or I mean gateway configuration and all, we are supposed to use the generic credentials. So why? Because even if you are leaving the organization, so those credentials will not be deleted. So the generic one, but our personal credentials will be deleted. Okay, it's just like the username and the password we'll be getting, and in the gateway machine. So instead of signing in with our credentials, so we will be using that. So the process will be same, but we use those credentials for signing in. And after that, in service, right? So again, we have to log in with the same account, so generate credentials, and then we can add the users. Like even we can give access to our personal account over there. So we'll be having the add users option. So with that, we can get that gateway permissions, and then we can set up the refresh for the reports. Okay, so again, we will install it and we will configure it tomorrow. So, and we will see the RLS concept as well. So then we will close it. Okay, so we'll close for today. Yeah. Any doubts till now? Any doubts? సర్వీస్లో బుక్ మార్క్స్ సర్వీస్లో చేయాలి. సర్వీస్లో లిమిటెడ్ ఫీచర్స్ ఉంటాయి డెవలప్మెంట్కి. సో అక్కడ మీకు డిప్లాయ్మెంట్లో డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ అంటే పబ్లిష్ చేయడం డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ అంటారు బేసిక్లీ. జస్ట్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్లో యూజ్ చేసే వర్డ్. మనం పబ్లిష్ చేస్తున్నాం కదా రిపోర్ట్, సో దాన్ని డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ అంటే డిప్లాయింగ్ ద రిపోర్ట్ ఇంటూ ప్రొడక్షన్. సో ప్రొడక్షన్ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ మెయిన్ రిపోర్ట్ బిజినెస్కి యూజ్ అయ్యే వర్క్ స్పేస్ ఉంటుంది కదా. ఇప్పుడు మనకి డెవలప్మెంట్ అనే వర్క్ స్పేస్ ఉంది. డెవలప్మెంట్లో ఏం చేస్తాం, పబ్లిష్ చేసి టెస్ట్ చేస్తాం. ఫస్ట్ టెస్ట్ చేసుకొని తర్వాత ఫైనల్గా ఈ డెవలప్మెంట్ వర్క్ స్పేస్లో నుంచి డైరెక్ట్గా యూజర్స్కి షేర్ చేయం. మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే డెడికేటెడ్గా ఒక వర్క్ స్పేస్ ఉంటుంది. అంటే టెస్టింగ్ అన్ని కంప్లీట్ అయిపోయింది, మన సైడ్ నుంచి అన్ని వ్యాలిడేషన్స్ అంతా కంప్లీట్ అయిపోయింది, యూజర్స్ కూడా టెస్ట్ చేశారు ఆ రిపోర్ట్ నేనంటే, అప్పుడు అదే కాపీని మనం మళ్ళీ డెస్క్టాప్ నుంచి ఏం చేస్తామంటే దాన్ని సర్వర్కి ఇంకో దానికి పబ్లిష్ చేస్తాం. వేరే వర్క్ స్పేస్లోకి, ఫైనల్ వర్క్ స్పేస్లోకి పబ్లిష్ చేస్తాం. మేబీ అప్పుడు డెవలప్మెంట్లో మనం ఒక సర్వర్ యూస్ చేస్తూ ఉండొచ్చు. సో డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ అంటే ప్రొడక్షన్స్కి మాత్రం వేరే సర్వర్కి మ్యాప్ చేయొచ్చు అనమాట. సో అక్కడ మనకి డేటా సోర్స్ సెట్టింగ్స్ అనే ఆప్షన్ ఉంది కదా, లేదంటే పవర్ బిఐ సర్వీస్లో పవర్ క్వెరీలో సోర్స్ అనే ఆప్షన్ ఉంది కదా, అక్కడ ఫైనల్ ప్రొడక్షన్ సర్వర్. ఎలా అయితే మనకి డెవలప్మెంట్కి ఒక వర్క్ స్పేస్, తర్వాత డిప్లాయ్మెంట్కి ప్రొడక్షన్స్ ఒక స్పేస్ పెట్టుకుంటున్నామో, అట్లా లైవ్ డేటాకి ఒక సర్వర్ ఉంటుంది. తర్వాత శాంపిల్ డేటాకి కోడ్ క్రియేట్ చేయడం కోసం శాంపిల్ డేటాకి ఇంకో సర్వర్ ఉంటుంది. సో దాన్ని తీసుకొని డెవలప్మెంట్ చేసేటప్పుడు శాంపిల్ సర్వర్కి కనెక్ట్ చేస్తాం. సేమ్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అంతా సేమ్ ఉంటుంది. బట్ డేటా ఏంటంటే అక్కడ లైవ్ డేటా ఉంటుంది, ఐ మీన్ బిజినెస్ డేటా ఉంటుంది. ఇక్కడికి వచ్చేసరికి సమ్ టెస్ట్ డేటా అదేలాగా ఉంటుంది. అదేలాగా స్ట్రక్చర్ అంటే టేబుల్ స్ట్రక్చర్ సేమ్ ఉంటుంది. బట్ ఇక్కడ 100 రికార్డ్స్ 200 రికార్డ్స్ ఉంటాయి, అక్కడ మనకి 2 lakh రికార్డ్స్ 3 lakh రికార్డ్స్ అట్లా లైవ్ డేటా ఉంటుంది. సో సేమ్ స్ట్రక్చర్ తోటి ఇక్కడ రెప్లికేట్ చేసి పెట్టుంటారు. ఎందుకంటే డెవలప్మెంట్ అప్పుడు మనం అదే సర్వర్స్ యూస్ చేస్తే లోడ్ ఉంటుంది అనమాట. సో ఆ లోడ్ అనేది వచ్చినప్పుడు ఆ సర్వర్స్ క్రాష్ అవ్వకుండా, సో డెవలప్మెంట్ కోసం సపరేట్ సర్వర్స్ ఉంటాయి. బట్ సర్వర్ నేమ్ మారుతుంది కానీ ఆ టేబుల్ నేమ్స్ కానీ ఇవేవి మారవు. బట్ తర్వాత పాయింట్ చేసేటప్పుడు మాత్రం టెస్టింగ్ ఇది లాజిక్తో అన్ని టెస్ట్ అయిన తర్వాత అప్పుడు మనం ప్రొడక్షన్ వర్క్ స్పేస్లో డిప్లాయ్ చేసేటప్పుడు డేటా సోర్స్ సెట్టింగ్స్లో మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే ఆ సర్వర్ నేమ్ తీసేసి డెవలప్మెంట్ సర్వర్ నేమ్ పెట్టి రీఫ్రెష్ చేసి పబ్లిష్ చేస్తాం. అలా ఉంటుంది. ఓకే. ఓకే గైస్, యూ కెన్ డ్రాప్. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఆల్.